Alright, you guys, welcome back to our video series. This is video number 2, which we are going to be going over level 2. I think this is something that people have been looking forward to. I think level 2 can be really intimidating to a lot of people and overwhelming if you don't know what you're looking at. So we're going to be doing our best to break it down, give you what you're looking at, what to look for, and how to use this in your trading. So in general, level 2 shows you the stock supply and demand that's being offered in real time. It's kind of just like a snapshot of what's really going on behind the stock. It's a complete list of the amount of shares that's available on the bid and ask, the market maker who is placing the order, and the price in which that they are willing to buy and sell at. In most cases, you're only going to see about 5 to 10 of the most relevant prices. It doesn't mean that there aren't more, like higher prices on the ask or lower on the bid, but it's just kind of showing you the most relevant. Level 2 also gives you a time and sales box where you can see every transaction that's being made, including the price and the quantity. If the transaction is displayed in red, it generally means that someone is selling into the bid. And if you see it in green, it generally means that someone is slapping the ask. So let's break it down a little bit further, kind of go into a few of the terms. The term bid refers to the highest price the buyer is willing to buy the specific number of shares of a stock at any given time. So if I want to buy a stock, but I'm not willing to slap the ask, I want to kind of wait on it, I am going to set a bid order. So the top bid, that's going to be the highest price that any trader is willing to pay for that given stock. And the same on the other side, the ask refers to the lowest price at which the seller is willing to sell the stock. So the difference between those two, that would be called the spread. This is a key indicator of the liquidity of that stock. So in general, the smaller the spread, the better the liquidity. Now you might hear some of the terms dumping on the bid or slapping the ask. So if you own a stock and you want to guarantee a sell, depending on how many of shares are available on the bid, you can just sell right into the bid and you have a guaranteed sell for your stock. And at the same time, if you want to get in a stock and you don't want to wait on the bid, you can go ahead depending on how many shares are available on the ask and you can slap that asking price. Therefore, you will immediately get into that stock.
Okay, so getting to know each of the market makers. The first list here is all your known diluters. You have Paul, Jane, CFGN, Vert, Puma, AEXG, STXG, INTL, Maxim, MCAP, BLAS, OTCN, and ALPS. These are the most known diluters you'll see on the ask. You also have OTCX. He can be anything. He could be diluter, he could be short, he could be retail. His main motive is basically to control the market. I don't like when he's on L level 2 because he kills a lot of the runs, similar to ASCM. He is also a short. Again, he's there just to control the market. If you see him on the ask, just like a diluter, he's showing 10K. You're hitting the ask, he's not moving. You'll then see him on the bid to try and cover his short. The next little list here is pretty much your retail market makers. You have Knight, you have ETRF, you have CSTI, and you have CDEL and GTSM. They can also be insiders selling restricted shares. So similar to a diluter or ASCM, if you see them on the ask showing 10K, they're getting hit, and they're not moving, that can be insiders selling those restricted shares. Best way to keep track of that is to check your share structure updates and see if there are any restricted or unrestricted shares added. So I got 2 examples here for you. In the first pick, you can see on the right, is a lot of the diluters that we just talked about. You have STXG, you have Jane, you have CFGN, BLAS. They're all on there on the right side. So BLAS, CFGN, they're back at 017, so they're not as active as the diluters on the top. They still can dilute from anywhere on the ask, but they're more likely to dilute from towards the top of the ask. The second pick, this is more of a bigger spread pick, kind of like the other one as well, but that just means there's not as much volume flowing through the stock at that time. That's when you hear those people talk about a stock being illiquid, that's what they're talking about. It also can mean that the stock has a lower float and there's less shares sitting on the bid and the ask. So it'll move a lot quicker. So the lower the float, the stock is going to move a lot easier than a bigger float.
All right, so one of the reasons that I love using level two is it can take some of the emotion out of the trade. I definitely was a technical trader specifically for a long time, but when you incorporate level two, you can get a little bit of a better insight of what's going on with the stock. So take an example, STEV, STEV, and if you look here, if you look at the actual chart, looks like you're having a pretty good day. You have a huge green candle. But if you go ahead and look at level two, you'll notice you have quite a big spread. So your bid is at 45 and your ask is at 57. So you'll notice that it only took a 10,000 shares on 57, which is really only a $114 slap to make your stock look like it's gone way up. And just as easily, if someone takes, it only takes, maybe 10 shares dumping onto the bid, you're going to be right back down at 45 where you opened. So on the contrary, you can look at on the other side. You might be in a stock and all of a sudden you think it takes a huge dive. Well, let's look at BORK. If you look at your stock, you look at your level two, you have 19 on the bid and then you have 31 on the ask. So yes, your stock dropped quite a bit, 19. All it takes is one little tap back at 31, and your stock is right back up. So it definitely eliminates that emotion that you have of a stock going way up and down, especially when you have a bigger spread, to see what's really going on with the stock, especially if there's low volume.
So one term you might hear getting thrown around are algos. Algos, algorithmic trading, is a computer program that follows a particular trading strategy and places buy and sell orders. They can drive the market up, down, or keep it right where it is if they want to. So if you're going to bid on a stock, you see the bid's 005, you want to put yours at 0051. As soon as you put that bid in, you'll see that market maker jump to you instantly. That's called an algo. It's just basically a computerized market maker. So then you have your cross trades and your T trades. Cross trades and T trades are both dilution, majority of the time. They're an average of the shares diluted at a certain price that didn't hit the tape during the day. It's not a buy and it's not a sell. It's the average of where those shares were diluted. Cross trades happen intraday and T trades happen after the market closes, usually about 30 seconds to a minute. They're usually a big block trade and shows on the tape as a 6-digit trade. So as you can see in the pic there, you have a 7 million share trade with a 6-digit 003257. That is a cross trade during the day. After hours, it'll look exactly the same way. Another thing to look out for is unsolicited quotes. Unsolicited quotes, the stock is not eligible for proper broker-dealer quotations. So basically what this means is it's going to have a higher risk of wider spreads, increased volatility, and it might be a little bit harder to sell the shares you have. If you look at the level 2 here, you could see, you have 0032, 0045 atop the ask. Then you have 008 as your next ask price. There's a lot more shares on the ask than what's showing. So that's basically what unsolicited quotes is. It's a lot more volatile.
All right, so one thing that you definitely want to be watching out for is market makers manipulation on level two. They can definitely use size to manipulate retail to buy and sell. So one of the things you're going to want to watch for is a prop bid. And a prop bid is done, it can either be done by a market maker or by retail, and they'll put a large amount of shares on the bid side, making the trader think that there's a lot of support and buying pressure, and encourage people either to have a higher bid or to stop the ask. Once you see that some of those shares on the ask are being bought up, then you might see that bid be pulled. So that would be known as a prop bid. So if you take a look at some of the examples down here, you have 8 million at 22. Most likely that's a pretty high amount on that bid side. It's not a realistic bid. They're trying to get people to encourage to buy those 26s, 27s, or even bid higher at the 25. Again, you can look down. We saw this one today on GGSM. Some people, started filling some of those 8s. Next thing you know, we have a huge bid on the trip 8 with 001 on the ask. So they're most likely just trying to flip their 8s into 1 and then rebid their 8s. Same thing can go on the other side. You can, if you've ever heard someone talk about they have a wall at a certain number, most likely market makers are trying to encourage people to sell. If they see that there's a large amount of shares on the ask, they might think that most likely it's not going to go past that size, and they're either going to put their shares underneath where the ask is, otherwise they might sell into the bid, therefore stopping a run from happening.
So now, guys, we want to show you a live look at some dilution that we recorded the other day off level 2. Keep eyes on top of the ask on INTL. And keep eyes on your times and sales on the right side. I'll walk you through it as it happens. So you're going to you see your first couple 10K hits there. INTL, no movement. Another 13K, no movement. So right there, something's fishy. There's probably a little bit of dilution going on. Another 5K. If you look earlier down those times and sales, you see two 600K hits. So there's a decent amount of dilution going on right now. Now, after the next hit that INTL takes, it's another 5K. You're going to see him fall down from the top of the ask, and CDEL is going to come to the top. Now, CDEL is not your normal diluter, so those could be restricted shares being dumped. So INTL is still up there now. Now CDEL's at the top. Now watch those times and sales. Look at all the dumps that come in. Okay? Now CDEL's going to fall off the top of the ask, and you're going to see Puma come to the top. And he's going to start dumping. So you got 20K here, 20K, 10K, 10K. This is a pretty good shot that we got of dilution. So CDEL's still up there. Now you're going to have Puma come to the top. There he is. And now watch all the dumps that come up. 125, 125, just nonstop. So this is a great look at dilution, guys. You have Puma, you have CDEL that could be restricted shares being sold. You have INTL. You even have Jane there. She wasn't at the top, but she could be selling also. So this is a great look at dilution. Hopefully you learned something from this. And just watch level 2 non-stop. This is how you learn the best, the quickest, and the most efficient.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching our video. I hope it was helpful. If you found this helpful, please feel free to retweet it out and share it to other people. If you are looking for ways to find level 2, you can use it for free. TD Ameritrade offers level 2 for free. All you have to do is start an account. I don't think you have to fund it. Then you can download Thinkorswim and you can use level 2 for free there. I know E-Trade has some as well. We personally use Scans, which you do have to pay for, but has an amazing level 2 to get your resources from. So if anyone has any resources that they use, free access to level 2, please feel free to comment below. Hope you have a great day and catch you on the next video.